Lord, can you hear us?
All right. All right, y'all. We're about to go live. We're waiting for a few more people to come on. And so while I'm waiting, let me just let everybody know I'm sitting here with City Councilor Tracye Whitfield from Springfield City Council, City of Springfield, Mass. For all my folks in CT, New York, Atlanta, wherever else you may tune in from time to time. Today we're going to talk about the ARPA grant. So we're going to hang out for a minute, give folks a chance to jump on. So if you're seeing this, if you can tag as many people as you can, tag anybody, tag everybody. We're talking about the City of Springfield ARPA Funds. And it doesn't matter where you're from Boston, Hartford, New Haven, Waterbury, Atlanta, Charlotte, it doesn't matter. The ARPA process is probably pretty much the same on the municipal level. So if you want to learn the ins and outs of ARPA, its impact on the local community, you might want to tell everybody we have a few more minutes. Make sure you tune in, let folks know that we're about to do this.
Yes. Excited. Let's get the information out to the people so you know.
Absolutely. So we're broadcasting live from the Artist Cafe, downtown Springfield. Black owned. Shout out to Dave Maynard.
Yes. Shout out. It's beautiful. I can't wait to host an event here.
Shout out to Nicole Coakley, Anthony Moore.
Hey, hey guys.
So again, tag somebody. We're about to talk about those ARPA funds, especially if you're a Springfield business owner or if you're a Springfield homeowner or head of household.
Or a resident.
Or just a resident, period. There's some things that folks need to know. And yeah, we're going to try and get as much information out to you as we possibly can. Would not be.
But he always here to remind me, on things that I may forget. Because, so I love the fact that we have an outlet like Metro Records and DMOS always bringing the information to the community, good, bad, and ugly. Folks just need to know the truth. And that's what we're here to do.
So we're going to give it like one more minute, then we'll get started. And whoever jumps in, jumps in. The good thing is we're broadcasting. You can check us out. You can follow us on YouTube, Metro Record TV on YouTube, live on Twitter for all the Twitter folks. We're on IG, Metro Record. Just type in the Metro Record, Twitter, IG, Facebook. Eventually we'll be on, what is it? Deezer and Twitch.
Oh, I never even heard of Deezer.
Yeah,
Twitch.
man. People
I
everywhere.
still use Facebook, guys. I have Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and all these other platforms that I really got to learn. Right now,
Shout out to my man Kevin Sampson, aka K Sam, Spirit Life Entertainment.
hey,
Shout out to Rob Jones, for all the folks who are tuned in. So, all right,
we appreciate you guys joining us. Yeah.
We'll keep it going until we can get folks popping in.
Yeah.
We'll just keep sharing it all day.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the official introduction. My name is Daryl Moss. I'm the publisher of the Metro Record newspaper. We circulate over 20,000 papers between Springfield, Hartford, and anywhere else where they will allow us to place our free newspaper. It's all about controlling our narrative, making sure people understand the topics, the hot and current topics of the day. Today we're talking about the ARPA funds. A lot of static happening, a lot of things going on. We want to make sure that when you guys engage in these conversations, you understand exactly what's happening. We want to make sure that you become a part of the narrative and you can control that narrative. Forget what you read in the newspapers and mainstream media sometimes. Forget what the mayor and other folks are telling you. We want to make sure that you get this information directly from the source and give you something to share. With that being said, City Councilor Tracye Whitfield, who stays on top of everything. When it comes down to controlling the narrative, what's her motto? Oh, I ain't going to lie. I'm going to tell you the truth. And if I don't know, I'm going to find out. And when I find out, I'm going to tell everybody. So today, she's here to tell everybody. Go for it.
All right. Thank you, Daryl Moss. Thank you for having me in your lovely establishment. I can't wait till you have the grand opening for the Artist Cafe. It is beautiful, guys. I love the fact that I'm here with Daryl Moss because Daryl has always told the truth. I mean, we've been friends for a long time now, and sometimes the truth hurts, but he always have told it to me anyway. And so I'm just very blessed to be here with Daryl and the Metro Record today. Please, guys, make sure you pick up the Metro Record, read the Metro Record, because when it comes down to our community, we need to go to the media that tells the truth to our community and about our community, because some of the mainstream media outlets, they don't tell the truth about what's happening to our community specifically. It's always a different angle, and it's not usually the angle that represents us in a positive way. So with that being said, I'm here to talk about the ARPA funds today because I want folks to know what's happening, but I also want you all to know who are the people you should be contacting. So the ARPA applications became available in November 2021, and people did start submitting applications. 1 minute, guys. People started submitting applications back in November 2021. There were household applications, senior applications, economic development applications, small business applications, and new business applications at the time. As time went on, the mayor took some of that funding and started other programs like the Healthy Homes Initiative, which is an initiative to help repair the home inside, whatever they come up with. Whatever they find, they will help repair it with the Healthy Home money. There was like $4 million that was transferred there. And then they started projects where they transferred some money to fix the outside of the home. So there's different programs that they created. They also created a Build Better Springfield program that they put money into to help if you wanted to purchase or rehab a historic building, you could get half of the cost to do that with the Build Better Springfield program. The problem that I had and Councilor Hurst had with this program, that it wasn't designed for Black, low income, Latino, I'm going to say BIPOC community, even though I'm not a fan of that term. It wasn't built for us. It was built for who they intended it for, and that was in our community. And so far, and then they just recently created a household senior application where households can get $1,400 per household if they apply for that money, and that's an online application. And so far, out of all the applications as of September 7th, there was 9,220 applications total in-house. The city finance department didn't really have the staff to manage this, but what they did do is they managed to give the funds to those that they wanted to. I'm going to name one, Big Y, got $1 million to start a new location, and I don't think Big Y struggled during COVID. Everybody had to eat while restaurants and other establishments were shut down. And so most of the grocery stores, if you went shopping, they were like pretty bare, and Big Y was no different. So I don't really know why they qualify for $1 million. And there's other applications that were approved that I know personally were based on relationships with the mayor and the administration, and that's the reason that they got their funding so quickly. And I'm just going to be truthful. That's my opinion. I don't have any clear facts about that, but that's my opinion based on who I know got this funding and their relationship to the mayor. So I'm going to say that. Now, the process, the applications were all online. You could contact the ARPA department to get your questions answered if you needed technical assistance support. Chase One actually has the technical assistance program to help small businesses. Like if you were struggling in any way, his department will help you get to where you need to be with like your documentation, all the paperwork that's needed. And I don't know how well that portion is running, but I am going to research that as well. I did talk to Che. He is helping some small businesses, but I think you have to go through the process, get denied, and then he will help bring you to where you need to be with the ARPA funds. And then I went live on Facebook and I said, well, if you have submitted an ARPA application and you haven't heard anything, or maybe you got one response since November 2021, let me know. And I said, fill out the form. And the responses that I got from people of color, that they have not even got a single response, was overwhelming to me. So I started digging into why aren't people even getting a response that their application was received, that it's being worked on. And the administration said that they didn't have the staff, but you can automate an email to say that we received your application. and they said that they were just overwhelmed and they weren't staffed correctly in the beginning. And that's still the same answer today. They're not staffed correctly. But what they did do is take off all communication outlets to them. So you cannot call them to check on your application status. You can't call them with any questions that you have. They removed their phone number from the website. They removed their email from the website. They removed everything from the letters. There's no names on the letters that's going out. And they're sending letters to people now rejecting them, saying that they don't qualify because of federal guidelines. But they don't list what the federal guidelines are, and they don't list what you need to be able to, get your application where it needs to be. So all this is a problem for me. I started having bi-weekly finance subcommittee meetings because I am the chair of the city council finance committee. And so I started having those meetings, and it became a problem for me, Dee, because they don't want to meet. And they told me I'm only going to meet with you once a month, but that's not how it works. That's not what the job description says, and all I'm trying to do is be transparent with the community.
Now, is this something new with them not meeting? Have there been weekly sessions in the past called by city councils?
Yes, there's been. So in the heart of ARPA, and I love to use this example because I really do love and respect Commissioner Helen Carlton Harris. In the midst of COVID, right in the heart when it first started, when everything shut down, Commissioner Carlton Harris was having weekly meetings with the mayor, probably daily when it first started. But when Councilor Letterman called, because he was the head of the Health and Human Services subcommittee, so when he called meetings with her weekly, there was not a time that she said she couldn't make it. She always made it. She didn't send anybody, she made it. And so when they told me, oh no, we're not going to do this, I've been given all types of pushback because I need to have information to give to the community, because when they took their names off of everything, people really in droves started contacting me. And I just want to say to the folks, city councilors do not process the applications. We don't write the applications. We don't have the capacity to assist with the applications. I'm here just to get the information out to the community and the rest of the councilors. Another thing that I want to say, as it pertains to the rest of the councilors, there are 13 of us. And people need to do their research, find out who their ward counselor is, find out who are the rest of the at-large counselors in the city of Springfield, and put them to work too. Because it's exhausting for the 1, 2, maybe 3 of us that are working on this. And I give kudos to Counselor Hurst, because I know that he's working just as hard as I am to get people the information and get some answers. And I just want to give a shout out to him, because me and him talk on a regular basis about the process.
If you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you're going to see an image come up.
Okay.
As you talk about those letters, is it okay? I'm going to show a letter that I received from a professional from the community. This is a letter that was sent to Dr. Katrina Banks. Mind you, Dr. Banks has a PhD. She is a recognized and qualified physical therapist. And this is the letter that she received from the city of Springfield. It says, "Dear Ms. Banks, thank you for applying to the City of Springfield's American Rescue Plan Act Small Business Assistance Program. After a careful review of your small business application, the City of Springfield has determined that your application is ineligible for ARPA funding per the federal ARPA guidelines and regulations. As outlined in the City of Springfield's request for proposals for small business assistance application, only proposals receiving a composite rating of highly advantageous from the evaluation committee are able to move on to be reviewed by the advisory committee for a grant award. We appreciate your patience and participation in this program. Respectfully, ARPA Department, City of Springfield." If you notice on the image that we just showed, there's no return email address. There's no telephone number to contact folks. There's no email. There's absolutely nothing. There's no way you can respond to even ask, okay, well, what do you mean by ineligible? What do you mean I don't meet the guidelines? What are the guidelines? There's no explanation for this at all. Now, if you're wondering why thousands of people have received this same exact letter, if I'm not mistaken, my sources have told me that they were behind, significantly behind, with thousands of applications left unreviewed.
Yes.
So as opposed to, and because of the pressure put on them by City Councilor Justin Hurst, City Councilor Tracye Whitfield, City Councilor Victor Davila, they just stopped the process and just rejected them across the board. So we're talking Dr. Banks here, neurological optical wellness physical therapy. The vast majority of her clients or patients are senior citizens who live in the Mason Square area. If you're familiar with the economic data around Old Hill, Bay, and some of the surrounding neighborhoods, we have Ward 3, which is, what's that? We have Ward 3 right around the corner, 2 minute, probably a 2 to 3 minute walk away from where her business is. So we have folks who are entrenched in poverty. They lack the resources necessary within the direct vicinity to access, the services that they need. So if this is the benefit black and brown businesses, black and Puerto Rican businesses in this city, how do you turn down businesses that operate dead smack in the middle of these neighborhoods?
D, what's more concerning to me is that the big corporations, the friends, those who may have struggled a little bit during COVID are the first ones to get the funding. But those who are really the most disadvantaged, the most disproportionately impacted, the reason that the federal and state money came to the city of Springfield in the first place, it's federal and state money, so it's all of our money. I've seen some comments that it's big business investment. Is not. It's the federal and state money. It came from federal government to state government to local municipal government, and that's a lot of the way. A lot of times, that's how money filters to the city. Um, so this is taxpayers' money. So if you pay federal taxes or state taxes or income tax or any type of excise tax, this is your money. And the reason that the COVID funding, we got $123 million in the city of Springfield, is because of the ratio of disproportionately impacted people in the city of Springfield, meaning the Black, Latino, low income communities, are the reason that we got 123 million. Yet it didn't go back to that population first, and so that's the biggest problem that I have. First, the mayor spent 2.4 million and bought some buildings through the SRA. Why would the mayor do that? Maybe they have plans to sell those buildings to big businesses, to redevelop. I don't know what they will redevelop it into, but that's what I assume is going on with why he first took $2.4 million and gave it and bought buildings when we had people really, really struggling to keep the lights on. Death toll was really astronomical. People were suffering. Sometimes people lost the breadwinner of their homes due to COVID and didn't know how they were going to survive. And they were calling us with these stories. So I know that they were calling the mayor as well, just trying to stay afloat. And yet, they were not the first ones that were looked at. And I'm going to include myself. We were not the first ones that were looked at for this ARPA funding. And so, in a reactionary way, they created this program where senior and household application got combined, and the maximum that they would give was $1,400 per household, and told me that it was a federal guideline. And I don't know who knows me or who don't, but I do my research.
Absolutely.
I go to the source. So I will go to the federal level, to the state level to get the answers that I need. And so what I did in this case is we have a city council attorney, Ken Shea, who actually researched the law. And it doesn't say it has to be $1,400 per household. If the federal government can get $1,400 per individual, why in the world would they restrict the municipalities from giving $1,400 per individual as well if they qualify? So, that's where we're at. As far as the $1,400 per household, if you live in a qualified census tract area, you automatically qualify. It's not an income-based application, although on the application you have to put your income information. Is not an income-based application. Qualified census tract, you automatically qualify. There's benefits listed on the application. If you get even just one of those benefits, you qualify next if you don't live in a qualified census tract area. And then if you don't qualify by either one of those criteria, then it goes by your income. So I just wanted to clarify that. So folks that may not have applied because of their income, apply. I'm pretty sure that the application process is going to stop in a little while as far as accepting new applications. And I did suggest that because they're just so overwhelmed with applications. So that means I'm overwhelmed because since they don't have contact information on their letters or their websites or anything, I'm getting a lot of constituents coming to me. So it's Counselor Hurst, Counselor Letterman, Counselor Dagla. I'm not sure about the other counselors, but guys, you have 13 city councilors in the city of Springfield. We got to tap into all of us, because if all of us can work together, we have more power in getting things done. And that's what we always say,
Right.
is power in numbers. So even you guys going to the mayor's office and telling them your hardships and the things that you went through, that will do something. But just me saying it all the time, or Justin, it's gonna fall on deaf ears. Or Councilor Hurts, I should say, it's gonna fall on deaf ears. We need people behind us.
Absolutely. So in the comments for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, there's a link to the ARPA local relief frequently asked questions. So when they tell you about federal guidelines, make sure you take the time to read these guidelines for yourself. I'm going to give you an example. When the Shannon anti-gang funds came out, they told everybody there were specific guidelines around which types of organizations should receive these funds, who should get it, how it should be done. I was there along with Ryan McCullum and a few others when Senator Jared Barrios first introduced that legislation and the funding for that particular program.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, none of what the city communicated to the community was true at all. I said it then, I say it now. There's been so many pots of funds that have come in with the city, Dominic's office, has basically just kind of pulled things out of thin air and say, well, you can't get it because of these specific reasons. And they get away with it because people don't contact them, they don't hold them accountable. Everybody takes pictures with them, but this is business. This is about making sure that we can enhance the quality of life for folks in our families, our communities, and in our city. So everybody needs to be calling 413-787-6100. Let me say it one more time: 413-787-6100, or send an email to his office. You can contact his director of constituent services, Molly Sullivan. Call, ask for her. She's the director. You can even email the mayor directly at dsarno@springfieldcityhall.com. That's a public email. You can send emails. You're not going to get the responses that you're not going to get a response if you don't do anything.
Exactly.
If you get these rejection letters, or even worse, if you're put on pause and no one contacts you, period, after telling you, as Mr. Keaton said, we need more documents from you, and then there's no response after that in regards to what documents you may need. This funding, and I see Sylvia Randolph, one of the commenters on the side, said this money does not belong to us; it belongs to big business. I'm hoping I'm not reading this out of context.
Yeah.
The reality is, these dollars are federal dollars. They come from my tax. I can care less where they pull it from. I know that I pay taxes every year, along with almost 1 trillion people across the country. These are tax dollars that we should be able to access. Period.
And to be quite honest, these are not the big businesses' dollars. These are federal dollars that came to our city, 123 million, because of the most disproportionately impacted individuals. And they got that data based on hospital visits, the death toll, folks losing their homes, folks losing their jobs. We know how high unemployment was back there. Those weren't the big business. Some of the big businesses may have had to close down for a little bit. But when we're talking about the larger establishments, I feel sorry for the small mom and pop shops in the community that had to close down, and that's their only source of income.
Absolutely.
That's their only source of income. So those were the businesses that should have been getting this funding first and up front. And now I just wanted to circle back to the Shannon Grant, because as I started investigating the Shannon Grant and seeing who got the funds over and over and over again, I asked for a meeting on the data on how they were using it, and they did do the work. I'm not going to say that. However, I asked the mayor if the Shannon Grant application was a closed process, because when I researched the Boston website, they had an open application process every single year. And so I fought for that. And last year was the first year that they opened up the Shannon Grant RFP to everyone in the city of Springfield. So anyone can apply. And I want to let you guys know that that application is open right now. So each year they have to do it. I think it's going to close around October 7th or 17th. I don't know the exact date, but it's on the procurement page of the city website. Please, guys, start doing your research. Go to springfield-mass.gov and just click around and see what's happening in the different departments. Procurement is a department of where all the RFPs come in, and that's a request for proposal to do city work. It's not always building buildings. Sometimes it's a cleaning contract. Sometimes it's a security contract. Sometimes it's It's just different contracts that the city is looking for services, but if we don't look for it, we're not going to know. And where they publicize is a small corner of the Republican. And so there's a few counselors, including Counselor Hurst and myself, that we said, no, you have to publicize in like areas that all populations live in Metro Record and Point of View and what is it, El yeah, the Latino newspapers and other papers where we'll get the information. And so now they're doing that a little bit more because we ask for it every single time. And it's just so much. And if you ever have the opportunity to watch like subcommittee meetings on city council, it's on Focus Springfield. You can go right to their page. You can go look at some of the older ones. It's important for us to know our government. And I'm going to try every method that I know how to educate. I'm just learning too. Trust me, when I got into politics, I did not know what I was in for. I mean, for those who come from a political family or was mentored by a politician, I give them the respect that they need. But if you come in and you don't have the knowledge of the political world at all, I give you a lot of props because it's a process and we all have to learn, and it's a continuous learning process every day. And I don't even pretend to act like I know everything. But what I do know is when I find out, I'm going to let you all know. And so I definitely appreciate Gerald Moss for giving me the platform to do that.
And just real quick, I just want to type in this email address. So, right there, ARPA stories at the Metro Record. So if you have an ARPA story, if you've applied for ARPA funds and you haven't received response from the city, or if you received a rejection letter, or whatever the case may be, we're asking people to email us because what we're going to start doing publicizing these stories, because sometimes we think that sometimes we assume we're the only business or the only individuals impacted by some of the decisions made downtown across the street at City Hall. We want to start publishing these stories and getting them out there so people understand they're not alone. The city does what they do because there's never been any real accountability mechanisms outside of the 2 to 3 city councilors that may push back. The thing is, I'm with the Panthers. All power lies in the hands of the people, and the people need to do due diligence. So you send the stories, we'll get them published. And someone said, well, I don't want my name. I don't want the mayor getting mad at me. We have 154,000 people in this city. Trust me, he doesn't really know that well. But he needs to.
So my thing is, people that are silent because they are in fear of retaliation should really think about a mayor that will make you fear saying something because you might not get what you deserve. We need to think this through, No one should be scared to speak up on what they deserve, number one. And then number two, you're going to get 100% of what you don't ask for. So keep sitting there not asking, being scared of retaliation, and you're going to get 100% of that because you're not speaking up for yourself. And one thing that I have learned over the years is we have to advocate for ourselves. There will be consequences sometimes, but it's not the end of the world. You will get through it, and it will make you stronger, and you will learn something from it. So we have to advocate for ourselves, and we have to advocate collectively.
Right.
That's the key. We have to do it collectively.
Absolutely.
And, Daryl, we say it time and time again, and sometimes I feel like it falls on deaf ears until I meet somebody in the street that say, thank you for the information. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And it's appreciated. I got into being a city council to work for the people. That's what I'm going to do. If there are councilors that you don't think is going to work for the people well, your vote is important. And we need to realize that our vote matters. City councilor, new city councilor-elect LeVar Click won by 44 votes. If those 44 or 45 people didn't show up, we would have a different council right now. And so everybody's vote is their voice and it counts. Okay, so let's do our best to advocate collectively. Now, I want to work with the mayor on solutions. Councilor Hurst brought up solutions on transportation, giving free transportation. It will save some families over $600 a month if they didn't have to pay for a bus pass on routes. Wasn't even considered. Solutions on putting the ARPA application in their statuses on the city website. Just like they can put payroll on there, they can put ARPA applications.
Absolutely.
But wasn't considered.
Wasn't.
And he came up with a bunch of solutions at our press release. Where I know it was a tough time of the day, but we got some support. Wish we had more. Thanks for coming out, D. You always there to support. But listen, we have to come out in droves to make change in the city of Springfield. I personally feel that with all the money that I see now that comes into the city of Springfield that I had no idea came into the city of Springfield before I became finance chair, our city should be much further along. It will be much further along if we act equitably, not just, add in our friends' pockets,
Absolutely.
But if we distribute our resources equitably, everybody can do good, everybody can succeed and move forward together. And we spend locally and we make sure we push spending locally and we support each other no matter what the background is. That shouldn't matter at all. And we do it together, our city will grow and become a safer community and do much, much better if we can do it together and equitably. So,
And I'm gonna close with this.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Dodds asked the question. Let me pull it up real quick. And you don't have to answer this today because we'll be doing this frequently. You'll see
Yes.
City Councilor Tracye Whitfield on more often. What neighborhood had the highest impact of COVID-19 in the city? Question. How much of ARPA funding has gone to that neighborhood? We want to find that out.
yeah.
And Keyshawn, if you have that answer, respond. If not, the next time we come on, when are we coming back on next, Councilor?
Did we say Thursday?
I believe it's Thursday.
Thursday.
Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So,
But I have an ARPA meeting at 1:00 on Thursday. You can watch it on Focus Springfield. I can't really give everybody the link to join, but if one or two want to get on and join, I could do that. However, I'm going to ask that question, Keyshawn, before that meeting. So hopefully by Thursday at 1, we'll have an answer for you, which neighborhood got the most funding. We do have the breakdown based on race, and I have the breakdown based on race, and I actually have all the businesses.
so we have data. So what we'll do is
We do
Thursday.
have some data.
Thursday we can come on. Let's break down the data
Okay, we can
Is
break
that
down
cool?
that. Yes,
because we know
I'll make sure I have that.
we're on the schedule right now. I know you have to get back, and congratulations on your new position
Thank
in
you.
the private sector. I
Yes,
think that's
yes,
awesome.
Thank you.
And I want to say this: my last thing on ARPA. I was reading the paper and I realized that the Boys and Girls Club Family Center only received $500,000. And I know a lot of people are saying, "Wow, that's a heck of a lot." The Boys and Girls Club on Carew Street received over $1 million. The Stephen Williams Center received over $1 million. Congratulations to them. There are a number of nonprofit entities that received over $1 million. But a lot of folks. I know Charles Stokes is on. He's often talking about the murder rate amongst young people, the gang activity. A lot of folks talk about it. When we look at over the last 10 years, I think we've had more victims in the Bay neighborhood than anywhere else in the city. And the fact that the mayor thinks that lowly of the Boys and Girls Club Family Center, and this ain't personal. I have nothing against the mayor at this point. I can care less. Get the separation. Let me just throw that out there. But when I think of what's happening in our neighborhoods and the access to resources, the limited access to resources in our neighborhoods, particularly for families and young people, I think that $500,000 is an atrocity. We do know that the family center is in the middle of a capital funds campaign, and that extra $500,000 would help get them closer to their goal. To take a facility dead smack in the middle of the neighborhood and just throw pennies and not even address it. From my understanding, the mayor has turned down meetings, scoffed at the idea of meeting to address funds, and felt like the family center should be happy with what they receive. This is about, when you talk about equitable, this is about equity. This is about fairness across the board. We have some issues and some challenges that we'll be addressing over the next couple of months in the Metro record, because we want to get into everybody who received funds, from Rayford Pellegrino receiving funds, $2.4 million. And my understanding from City Hall insiders, he didn't even apply for the funds. I was told, and correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, he didn't apply. His buddy Tommy Ash made sure he received it. $2.4 million. Then we have a Boys and Girls Club Family Center. The Dunbar is basically, it's not the Dunbar I visited back in '94. MLK has been suffering. We only have the family center that's really up, open, in operation to that extent. And if I'm wrong, correct me.
So no, Ray Pellegrino did not apply for his application. I do have the application where the Economic Development Department, run by Tim Sheehan, actually his department applied for the funding for Ray Pellegrino. And there's a backstory to that, but we won't get into all that right now today. Family Center, I was really passionate about it because I went there, my kids went there, and when I talked to Deshaun, he told me that he's trying to open a teen and young adult center away from the youth because we need it to stop the violence and have somewhere for these young adults, young older teens to go. We don't have anything like that in the community. Not so much. We have some summer camps, but we need something that's consistently there to support this population. And the reason that I got frustrated was because the Boys and Girls Club on Carew Street, which also service our population of people,
Absolutely.
received 1.5 million. So I have requested their application. New North Citizens Council got over 3 million. I have requested their application, and I requested the Family Center application because I said, Mayor, at minimum, please just be equitable. Give the Family Center $1.5 million. I sent them a long email. I included all the counselors so they know what I'm requesting. I included some other people. I didn't include the media at this time, but if you know me, I will. And the mayor hasn't responded as of yet. I haven't got many responses from the counselors outside of Councilor Hurst. Me and him talk almost on a daily basis about supporting giving the Family Center more money. Now, this is just one example of who we're fighting for out here. There is Will Chapman, Eutrina Holly, like Hodges, and other seniors that came to me that put in applications and haven't gotten anything, and they need it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we're gonna come back.
We'll be back.
on
We'll be
Thursday.
back. And I'm going to remind you, next year's an election year. So if you don't vote, that's a vote for the current administration. This isn't about who gets in. The bottom line is we need to find someone who's going to make sure that everything is done equitably across the board, unequivocally.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, and
All
I
right.
know that sometimes, D, I just want to say this,
Yep.
that I get a bad rep because I'm attacking the mayor. I'm not attacking the mayor.
It's
I'm
not
attacking
personal.
the process. It's not personal.
Not personal.
When this funding comes into the city of Springfield, it's for the residents, constituents, small businesses of the city of Springfield. And as long as I'm the finance chair, and even when I'm not, because I still have access to the documents, I'm still going to fight to make sure that the funding that comes in the city of Springfield is distributed equitably. The funding, property tax, everything else that comes, it doesn't have a color. But we need to take care of those who need it the most, not the ones at the top that's already rich. Why would we do that? That's not the right thing to do. And I really get frustrated and passionate about that because so many suffering people come to me. So many guys. And it's heart wrenching for me. It gets overwhelming, it's heart wrenching, but I've always told you guys, as long as I have breath in my body, I'm gonna continue to fight. As long as the Lord allows me. So I will leave you with that.
All right. That being said, much love, much peace. This is Metro Electric Record Live, one-on-one with City Councilor Tracye Whitfield. We'll be back Thursday, 10 a.m. Be sure
10:30?
10:30.
10:30.
Yep. Be sure to tell somebody else. This is the information that you need. When we come back next week, I'd like Rose to send me some information on Springfield No One Leaves. Another program that should have been funded in the millions. But we'll get into that on Thursday.
We'll
There's
get into
just
all that.
so many dope people doing so much dope work. But here it is, y'all. Because freedom ain't free.
And we'll have our special guests. So join us every week, Tuesday and Thursday.
All right. And we out.
Okay.
Peace.